these past 2 weeks together. We're going to continue to do that. And so, we wanted to dig a little bit more in today about team building, especially because we have such a gift and such an opportunity in our hands with this $30 kit that has been extended. And we know that some of you, it takes a few times to hear something for it to really stick and for it to really apply. And this virtual world is so new for many of us. And so we want to really dig a little bit deeper in your sharing virtually when it comes to sharing the opportunity, confidence when it comes to sharing, and why we share. I think it's an important thing about why we share this business. I think now of every decision prior to my own, I think even now, when Janet said yes to the business and my recruiter said yes to the business, and before her, everybody sharing is what's gotten us here today. If someone had not shared with you and the person before them, we would not be here. So why do we share? Because Mary Kay asked it as the one thing for us to do, to pass it on. And I feel such a debt and responsibility to share because it has been transformative in my life. And I believe it is selfish to withhold an opportunity that could potentially be one of the most life-changing opportunities for a woman, an individual. I really believe that. And if you don't have that belief yet, events like these anchor you. Learning more about our company anchors you. The more you are involved in Mary Kay anchors you. I believe that you continue to, that's a process of being anchored, deeply rooted, we call it in Mary Kay, and makes you want to share. It's almost like when you have Jesus in your life, you want to share the gospel because the more you know him, the more you feel, he is like a part of your life, the more you want to share. It's kind of like that, right? You got to just share because it's part of who you are, and it has changed you, right? And you share what's changed you. And so I love that it is our duty, and choosing not to decide for somebody. I hear people say all the time, well, she's so busy. And if it's not for her, let her decide that. Hear these thoughts. Have you ever thought this about somebody? I don't want to bother them. I don't want them to feel pressure. If they're interested, they'll let me know. I don't want to be pushy. How many times did you hear the word, I don't, I don't want to, I don't want to be, right? And that's pointing to who? You, not the other person. You're withholding an opportunity because you, or the way you feel, or your fears, right? And so, it should always point to them. What could this do for them? How could this change her life? So if you've ever wanted to skip sharing the opportunity in your one-on-one virtual session, in your virtual party, after an appointment, you've ever been like, oh, I just don't know, maybe because you ran late, or maybe the party started late, or maybe people are a little antsy. Do you always share? Yes, because it might, number one, you have a gift to share, and you are always planting a seed. You do not know if you'll get that opportunity again. And you always want to take the chance to share. You plant a seed and let the rest take its place. And we'll continue to do training on the follow-up with this. But we want to dig a little bit deeper about the how to share of your virtual appointments, sharing with confidence, and the tools and resources. We're going to go a little bit deeper than the last time that we shared, and we do have some virtual tools we're going to be sharing with you today about that. But I will tell you this, there's so many ways to share, you guys. If I asked right now Janet, if I asked right now Madi, if I asked Lisa, and many of you, I know many of our leaders, Mercy, Grisel, and so many more, you have your own maybe way that you like to share the opportunity, or maybe you really haven't found your way. I want to teach you one simple one, that if you do this always, it's easy to duplicate, easy to follow, and easy to remember how to do. You don't have to have a lot of skill or a super confident to do it, and it gets better and easier and easier. So also I will tell you, before I share that tool with you, people like to know what to expect. I feel like your iStory is a perfect place to open up the stage, to set the stage that you will be sharing the business. I feel like people don't like surprises. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. People like to feel safe when they can know what to expect, when you can give them what's going to happen today kind of thing, right? And so when you're sharing your iStory, it's such a great time where you've just closed your iStory and say, you know what? And today, I'm so excited to be able to have the chance to share with you a little bit more about how this opportunity changes women's lives. And for just giving me your feedback today, you will get entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. I think, ladies, is that what Ari's drawing now? We just change it from years of purses, years, to finally the gift card. So, because Amazon is in, right? Michael Kors is always in, but Amazon is really in. So that's how we're doing it now. But people, then they're like, okay, I know what to expect. So they're not caught off guard or like, oh, now I have to hear Mary Kay. But after hearing your story, they're more open and more interested to hear Mary Kay. And teaching about your iStory is another conversation. If you need help with that, talk to your sales director about your iStory. But I believe your iStory is a perfect opportunity to set the stage for that. So that's the first time I even mentioned that I will be sharing with them a little bit more, whether it's a one-on-one, whether it's a party. That's the first time. So let's talk a little bit about what to say to grow your team at a virtual appointment. I'm going to focus today more on the actual virtual appointment versus to the follow-up. That will be another training. So let's focus a little bit more about that. So if I ask everybody here, when they share the opportunity, it might be at different times. It doesn't matter. Just share. For me, I like to share it during the charcoal mask, and if they have samples, and even if they don't, I'm putting it on my own face. That's fine because we're going to wear it for about 15 minutes at least, and it gives me a great opportunity to share a little bit more about me, about Mary Kay, and a little bit more about our company. So I think that's a perfect time. So even if your guests do not have samples, but you yourself are doing it on yourself, or maybe you're taking a break between products, it's a great middle class opportunity, but you can share it at different times, or even at the very end, right? So a couple of things I like to do. So I share, and we have this in our virtual guide and we can share it in just a moment. But basically, as I'm sharing the charcoal mask, I share, and this is in our virtual guide, a little bit more about Mary Kay, a little mini iStory where we set the stage. And you'll see in the script, it says something like this, so while charcoal mask is drying, I'm excited to share with you a little bit more about the top reasons that women choose a Mary Kay business. Now, this is where I call it the disclaimer. Here's where you prepare people. Before I start reading the marketing plan, I set the stage. We set the stage for people. Oh, lost my notes here. We set the stage for people about, what they're about to hear because it prepares their heart. It's almost like a child. If you just disrupt them and like move them from here to here and don't prepare them, they're like, like I do that. If I get kind of like, nobody warns me what's going to happen, I can kind of get a little bit out of whack. Same thing here. So I want them to know what's going to happen. And I want them to have their hearts ready to receive, right? It's almost like when you're at church and they sing, they do singing first because it prepares your heart to receive the message. Okay, you're preparing their heart to receive the message, right? So here's your preparing their heart. Ready? So, tell them, while our charcoal mask is drying, I'm excited to share with you the top 4 reasons why women choose a Mary Kay business. Now, hear me out. This might be for you. This might never be for you, and that's okay. But you might know somebody who needs this. And I cannot imagine withholding from you an opportunity that has been life-changing for me. And maybe it hasn't changed your life yet, guys, but you can say that it's been life-changing for so many. Okay, has been life-changing for so many. Has been life-changing for so many women. And if you love what you hear, I can't wait to talk to you more about that at the very end. So I share 2 documents. 2 documents. And I'm going to have Madi, do you happen to have handy? There it is. She is ready. And I thought we could role play this. We're going to role play this because I believe I want to not just tell you, I want to show you what I do at my parties. It's super easy, and all you need is 4 questions, okay? So we're going to share our screen, and I'm going to share with you, literally this can be found under education. It can be found under education and under team building. Super easy. There's only like 4 flyers in there, and under the education tab of Mary Kay in Touch, and under team building, it is there. Are we going to use it, Madi? Let's use it. No? Bring it back. Did it go away? So, okay. So we're going to use this for a second. I'm going to be having a few of you help me. So I set the stage. So I'm excited to have you guys help me with this part as part of our raffle. For you participating, you get an extra entry for our raffle. So for number 1, can I have, please, Janet? Janet, would you read for me number 1, please? This is one of the top reasons women start a Mary Kay business.
Love what you do. Love Mary Kay. Freedom and flexibility. Side gig or full-time business. Fun and friendships. A worldwide sisterhood of women helping women. Sharing the fun. Start your Mary Kay business today.
So I pick somebody in the audience and I have her just read. And then I ask this one question. Are you ready? It's one simple, I know the screen went away, Madi. I don't know if it's just me. Did it go away? And I ask one simple question. I keep the screen on for this part. And I say, Janet, would you mind sharing with me which of those do you feel women need most today? Which of those, Janet? See, I'm asking her this question, but she's going to tell me what she needs most today because she's going to answer based on what she needs. So, Janet, would you tell me which of those do you feel women need most today from number 1, what you just read?
I would say freedom and flexibility.
Wow. And tell me, so what about that excites you? Or what about that means the most to you?
I like the fact that I could have my own schedule, so I could take the kids to their games, but at the same time be able to, I guess, make some income as well.
I love that. So you guys, so as you get more skilled and more seasoned, you'll pick certain people for different things. But right now you're picking people who are excited, who are responsive, who are engaging with you, who are smiling, who are showing their face. So pick those people. So awesome, Janet. Thank you for sharing that. And so number 2, Lisa, can you read number 2 for us?
Sure. Money and rewards. You can earn up to 50% on everything you sell at retail. If you build a team, you can earn product rewards and monetary bonuses, plus a commission based on your team members' product sales. The opportunity to earn the use of a Mary Kay Career Card, one of the best-in-class car incentive programs in the world.
Awesome. So Lisa, from those, which one impressed you the most? Maybe you didn't know.
50% is really huge. I didn't know that I could sell anything and make 50% on it.
Awesome. You guys, you hear what the answers are giving you are their answers. People like their answers more than your answers. And when we're constantly telling them why we started and why we're excited, we're missing the boat, and they're telling you why they would start. So I hope that you're hearing their potential answers. Oh, so awesome. Thank you, Lisa, for that. And number 3, Mari, would you share number 3, please, for me?
Of course. Okay, so products women love. More than 300 beauty products, innovative skincare, on-trend color cosmetics, body care, and fragrances. Hundreds of thousands of product tests each year for quality, safety, and performance.
That's awesome, Mari. Mari, as a consumer, when choosing products, which of those is most important to you? Which one gives you security?
Well, I love that, obviously they do product tests for quality, safety, and performance every year. I think that's really impressive, for sure.
I love that. So, and I may pick somebody who's like super, into like ingredients and all that kind of stuff. They'll get really into that one. They get like on and on. I love that. So, and my final one, number 4. So, and Annie, would you read it for us, number 4, Annie? Because you're on my screen. Hold on, ready? You're muted, Mama.
Ready?
Yeah. Mary Kay, 55 years of enriching women's lives. Values-based company with purpose and staying power. Proven business opportunity that helps women discover extra income, empowered choices, and true beauty from the inside out. In nearly 40 countries worldwide.
I love that, Annie. And Annie, as when women choose a business, when you choose something for you, like which of those do you feel are most important when selecting a business opportunity?
I like the proven business opportunity that helps women discover extra income, empowered choices, and true beauty from the inside out.
Proven business and empowered choices. I love that. So now you're seeing what drives her, right? And so I love that, you guys. So then basically I say, thank you guys for sharing in the comment section. If I'd ask anybody in the comment section, if I didn't get a chance to call on you and any of these inspired you, tell me which one inspired you most. Which one of these is what drew your attention the most? And I'm gonna share you with one more screen. So Mari, can you share with us our $30 kit deal? So then I'll say, I have one more screen for you guys. And I'll say, if anything that I've shared inspired you, guess what? It's so easy to start a business. And I share this one little simple screen, how to start. I think you have to simplify the start. People always wonder, well, what's the next step? And what does it take to start? And they think they make it harder in their head to start. So I share this one screen we're going to share with you now.
Hold on 1 second. I just pull it up.
Yeah, you're good. So as I share, I really make it simple, you guys. I don't go into all the events they can choose from. I don't talk about all the ordering bonuses. I mean, I think less is more. I think that, keeping the decision really simple. You might want all that information, but up front, if anybody gave that to you, you probably would have been overwhelmed. And I think really simplifying the decision, it's so easy. I literally say it's so easy to start. It's just a $30 decision. I don't even talk about the whole kit right now. They can look into that when they have their choice, when they're actually going to pick their kit. And I can tell them more about the $100 kit. That is up to the discretion of your leader and you. But literally, it's as easy as just a $30 decision to get started with all the virtual tools you need for your virtual business. And then from there, we can get you started and launch your virtual debut party. I keep it simple. I send you a link. I don't even say, I just say I send you a link and you can get started right away. And with your $30, we begin. And then our next step would be to do a virtual orientation. That's it. I think we explain too much sometimes, and we think we have to over explain. And I'm somebody like, I know some of you that are just personalities that might need more, and on a one-on-one basis, you can handle those questions, but not in the masses, not for the group. Does that make sense? Those are not handled, those are not shared to the masses where you overwhelm people with information, because you want to intrigue them. Right now, our goal is that we intrigue them to want to hear more and start. So here it is. So it's, you know, so ladies, as you saw, it's as simple as a $30 decision with all the tools to start your Mary Kay virtual business. There's never been a better time, number one, to start a business. And you guys, you can mention, I love Madi. This is Madi's tagline, whether it's for the extra cash, right now that through COVID-19 to replace an income, for future goals, for current goals, for the immediate, for the community of Mary Kay, which is so special. Women more than ever, we never were made for loneliness, and women, you know, we're meant to be together, and women are looking for community to be important and feel included. Or maybe it's the culture, the unique culture of Mary Kay's faith, family, career, whichever of those that drives you. It's just $30. And this is where you share your goal. Ready? This is where you share your goal, the closing statement. And I would love to include you. Right this month, I'm looking for 3 leaders that want to that are excited to take the next step and begin their Mary Kay business. And so you have to have a closing. I went over this with my leaders of an hour of the training before. Having a goal, you guys. Some of you don't even know what your goal is. Picking a goal, sharing a goal. Hey, maybe it's 1. Maybe it's 2, but hey, and I'm excited to, you know, and if anything I shared excites you today, you know, I'm 3 leaders away from my next promotion, and I would love to include you. I would love to invite you. 3, maybe you have 0 and you're 3 away from a red jacket. That sounds good, right? You know, so if you put just 1 away, they're like, okay, somebody here will figure it out. But 3 away includes more people. So you have to be bold to share that. And we're going to use some closing bold statements that you're going to say at the very end to give you that. You're just going to read it. I promise you, you're just going to read it. You're going to read it, and you're going to say, Jesus, give me courage, give me words, but you're just going to read. That is it. Because we're going to teach you that words matter, and the right words matter, and they get easier to say. I remember when I was new, you guys, I would print out Gloria Mayfield Banks' training. Like, she had a training that I would just read, and I would read it at my parties with a piece of paper. Like, I'd cover my face, and I would just read it. I'm looking for women that knew God made them for more. Women that, like, I would just read it. So you guys, I'm going to trust you. And I had a piece of paper at a party. You can just put a screenshot and no one's going to know you're reading. So you can do this. But yes, when you close that, I say, and I invite you, if anything I shared has inspired you, I invite you to hear more and to be part of my team. I'm only 3 leaders away from my next promotion, and I would love to work with you. So at the end, we'll have that conversation. Then you continue your party, da-da-da. We do the raffle, da-da-da. Party continues. It's in the guide. Yes, I would love to work with you. Maddie, you want to fast forward for our strong close? So the party continues.
I'm muted. Yay, yes. So we've got a powerful close that we want to share with you. And Christine is actually the one that shared this with me. And we have a dear friend that kind of used this. And when both of us saw it, we were like, oh, that's bold, but we're going to start saying this. So we want to share it with you. So we've added it to our consulting guide. So you're going to see it updated on our virtual how-to by the end of the night tonight. But really, it's just so powerful to end your session with really powerful words. So this is what we're going to
clarify. This closing, is for a party, just so they know.
This is for a party. So you are in a group, virtual session, and you are closing out the session after you've shared your sets. Obviously you shared the opportunity during the session. And so this is what you're going to say. You're going to say, all right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call you and I'm going to ask you for 4 things. I'm going to do 4 things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to thank you profusely. I'm going to thank you over and over and over again. Probably to the point where you're going to tell me to stop because you have no idea how much it means to me to have you here today. So you don't even know me, but just by being here, you have helped a complete stranger get 1 step closer to a big dream goal that she has in her heart. And I seriously cannot thank you enough. The second thing I'm going to ask you is what kind of a beauty session you want to host to earn your free shopping spree. So you are also helping our hostess tonight, Susie Q, earn her free products. So everyone is winning for sure. The third thing I'm going to ask is what products you'd like me to mail out to you tomorrow. The deals and steals are good through tomorrow at midnight, so make sure you take advantage of them. And fourth, I'm going to straight up ask you to join my Mary Kay team. You guys were awesome tonight, and I've loved spending time with each of you. So yes, I'm going to ask each and every single one of you. You get a free gift, but we also get to hang out more. So that's the most fun part of all. Thank you for choosing me as your beauty girl. So obviously, like, these are really bold words, but the other thing is that it ties in right to what Christine said, which is women love to know what to expect. And I typed this up really fast. I found a bunch of typos, but we're going to fix it. And women love to know what to expect. And so when you tell them what to expect, you're telling them, I'm going to thank you. I'm going to book your beauty session with you. I'm going to ask you what products you want. And I'm going to ask you to join my team. You're telling them. So there is no surprise. And it also liberates you to then follow through and do those 4 things when you reach out to her for your quick follow-up session one-to-one. So it really is setting the stage for all of the great things to come. You know, and one of the things that we're going to be teaching you about is really how is it that when you're sharing the opportunity and you ask her to join your team, I mean, just one of my dearest friends in Virginia, Lauren, she said this to me one day, and it changed the way that I thought about sharing the opportunity. She said, just offer it like a stick of gum. You don't ever think about like, oh my gosh, should I offer her a stick of gum? You're like, would you like some gum? You know? And so I've heard her offer the opportunity so many times that way, you know, is this something you can see yourself doing? Or how could a Mary Kay business serve you right now? Just offering it like you would to everybody, like a stick of gum. And, you know, and really knowing that some people will say yes and not everyone will, but that's okay, because that's why we have great follow-up, you know, that you can layer your potential team members with. And so, but we love this bold close, and really just challenge you to step right into it alongside of us, right, Christine? Because we're both going to be doing this as well.
I wanted to share, I actually watched, and I can share with you who this was. So Leanne David is a good friend, and she, I asked her if I could watch one of her parties, and I watched her do this close. And I want you to know, when I first read this, my personality type, I was like, oh, that's so bold. I got nervous. I was like, I'm going to straight up ask you to be team. I'm like, how's she going to say that? I want to see it. And I want you to know it's all about tone, because it was all about tone. It was like when she said it, I felt like it was perfect. She's like, and I'm going to straight up ask you, join my Mary Kay team. Like, she was excited about it. And they were like, oh, like 2 of the girls were like nodding, like, yeah. So I noticed the feedback from the audience, and it was really about your tone, how you share this. And you can look, I mean, I'm going to challenge you to just read it, you know, but you can put your isms into your personality into it. But I challenge you to practice with somebody. Like, literally, you only get better by doing this. And I love that this, again, sets expectation of how you're going to close out your people at the very end. But you just heard 3 powerful instances where you are sharing the business 3 times. There will be a training specifically about follow-up afterwards and what to do with those potentials, and then you get your surveys. But I do want you to know that a couple tools, I believe every leader on this call has some sort of a survey to get feedback from your guests. That's a huge part of the process, that making sure that they get a link to provide their feedback afterwards, and really setting up a conversation with your director immediately. Your sales director is your best friend. If you want to move up in this business, you need her on your side. I just want you to know that. I'm going to say that again. Your Mary Kay director is your best friend in this business. Nobody's going to want you to move up more than her. No one's going to support you more to move up than her. And right now you're developing skills, and you need her. You don't need her to recruit, but you want her on your side to know, hey, I have these potentials I'm working with. Here's what I'm doing. So I think it's important you have conversations, because she can guide you from experience on how to work with people individually. You know, not that you can't recruit without her, absolutely not. Some of you are also powerful and don't even need that, but you want the support and guidance, so she can help you with the survey links, or get your feedback, or help you with the conversations, or at least equip you and prepare you those conversations so you can feel confident to have those on your own. We have plenty of resources coming your way to have those interviews on your own, or the support of your director, whatever you need. And even, I know we even have live events where you can plug them into as well. So we hope this has been valuable. We've come to our time officially of Q&A. It's officially Q&A time. So it's your chance to pick our brains, and you can ask any one of us, because we all have, what I love about this group is we have different styles, different ways that we share, different strengths. You can ask any one of us about any questions about anything you've heard today, team building or not. We can all give our input on this part. So You know, do we have any questions, Mari, written out?
Yet. So let's take some questions live.
Live, sure. It could be on anything. It could be on leadership. It could be on setting your goals. It could be on marketing, period.
I have a question.
Hello, Ale.
Hello. The question I have is, where can I find, because probably I do know where it is, I just, in my brain, I can't picture it. Where can I find the virtual party handbook?
Yes, we're going to put in the chat right now, but it's as easy as a great question, Ale. Thank you, because I forgot to share that again. So www.tinyurl.com/virtual-how-to. So here we go. There it is, posted. Everything we mentioned today. And you guys, there's many resources on our Driven App and Driven Area website as well. But what we just shared with you is specifically on this landing page that you can all access and use. www.tinyurl.com/virtual-how-to. What we just shared with you right there was from there. Great question.
Thank you.
Christine, we have a question from Caitlin.
Yeah.
So she said, what if, and Christy had it also, what do you say if they say they can't pay the $30 or don't have the $30? And Christy added that a lot of friends she's spoken to have said that due to losing their job.
So I think we can all answer this in similar or different ways. Can I be honest with you? If somebody really wants to make this happen, they will find $30. Like $100, and I'm not saying that they don't have $30. I'm saying if they're really willing to. So it's just finding out, usually it's something deeper. Usually uncovering the bigger objection from my experience. Usually it's not necessarily the money. It's more like that's like the cover up of what's really holding them back. That's what I've seen. Now, if they really don't have the $30 and that's the only thing holding them back, I may ask a question like, who believes in you that you can share your goal that may sponsor you? Who could sponsor you?
I might ask something like, when is that something that might, when might you have the $30 so that we can plan for that? Or like, I love what Christine said, is there somebody in your life who'd be willing to sponsor you?
Yeah, or how do you see yourself like finding the $30? Because you might be able to even walk them through things like, do you have things you want to sell on eBay or offer up? Like how, and that really tests the waters on how committed they are to this.
May I add something to it? As I'm a college student, so I felt initially before I started joining with Mary Kay, I was worried about the money that would go into it, because sometimes it's, in my opinion, like through my experience, it was also the fear of like the unknown. I didn't know what's going to come that came with it. So it starts with the $30, which doesn't seem as much, but sometimes you're thinking, oh my gosh, I wonder how much money is actually going to go into it, or there's also, what if I don't make it far enough? But what helped me was that it was a good investment. Like, it wasn't that, oh, they're going to squeeze things out of me later. It was like, no, I'm interested in the products. I would like to try out the products for myself. I even did the starter kit, which I couldn't afford, but like everyone is saying, speak to people that will support you. And I'm actually happy when I got the box. I was like, wow, this comes with like a lot of useful things for me. It came with like a binder, it came with like an agenda, everything. So
I love that you said that, because I think you're right. It's about getting into what the deeper, right, that deeper concern is, and that deeper thought of and figuring out, what is it that's really holding her back. And if it is the $30, then, I know I can speak for many of us who, were around and built our business for many years with $100 kit. I had many women who literally found a way, made a way, and figured out how to find $100 to get their kit. So, I think you're right, Stephanie, that, it's really, it's about figuring out like what's that deeper concern, right? So I love that it's just you had those other thoughts and someone else might have them too. Love
I
that.
think also just knowing there's way more resources. Like you're not going in alone, which I feel like people are also afraid of, because sometimes you are thrown in alone. But I have not been alone in any step like whatsoever. And it's like super comforting to know that, like Christine was saying, you have your recruiter, you have your director, everyone is there to back you up. Like when you feel like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing, they're like, girl, don't worry. And then they explain everything. And it's much more reassuring than just knowing, oh, you're starting and that's it. No, it's like you're starting and we're here for you. And you had one best friend, girl, now you got like 10. So it's like, it's really nice.
Yeah. We got a couple other questions that I think are good and kind of play into this too. Rochelle asked, how often should you layer someone if someone is interested but wants to wait until school starts in the fall? So that's a good question for layering. Let's think about that. And then we also have the question, what do you say when someone says that Mary Kay isn't stable? That was from Caitlin. And then Christy also says, to add to that, it's only $30 to start, but for them to become active, they have to spend, right? They have to get active. So what do we tell them about that? So those are all good questions.
So I'm going to take a question. Yep. The one that Christy asked, because I think this is one, I'm a super direct individual.
Yeah.
You guys will come to know that about me. But so when somebody asks, like, to me, it's all about, like, if you're going to ask me questions, my whole thing is like, I'm not here to hide the truth from you.
Yeah.
I'm not here to hide the truth from you. And I think that how you phrase the question really is one of the things that changes. It's a mentality thing, right? They have to spend $250. No, they're not spending $250. It's what are they selling? Because that doesn't have to come out of their own pocket to become active. We're helping people do their virtual debut and their virtual launch. And I will tell you, from the virtual debuts that I have done, I have not had a virtual debut that was less than $800. So where that money is coming from their sales, and that's how they're becoming active. So I think it's about, being intentional with the words that we use, to prove that there's success in this. And it's really like, oh, they'll probably ask because maybe they were involved in some other direct selling business, and this is where the hesitation is. And this is like a great option for dialogue. And if you don't feel comfortable with the answers, it's a great point for you to get your director involved.
Absolutely.
Like, I would love to make sure that you have absolutely no questions about, if you think that there's something else going on that isn't being told to you. Would you do me the honor of allowing me the opportunity to get my sales director involved, so I make sure that I'm sharing everything appropriately with you?
So I can talk a little bit about this question about layering. I think, layering is really an art, and we're actually going to be talking a lot about layering in our follow-up class. But to touch upon layering, I think it's really about just communicating and staying in touch with someone. It's about creating touch points. So those touch points may be anything from a virtual event to a sharing opportunity, like a peek into pink. It may be her talking to your sales director. It can be, I think it's just about creating those opportunities, continue to connect with her. One of the greatest tools that I've found when I really want somebody on my team is to have them host for me, or to have them watch me put money in my pocket. Because there is something about watching you sell to their friends, make money with their friends and family, that is really, really powerful. So the most powerful layering tool is actually one that shows her how the business works. And so it's always been my favorite in Mary Kay, and I know Christine and Lisa and Janet would probably say the same thing. So, but the layering is really, I like creating those multiple touch points. Have I invited her to a sharing event? Check. Have I invited her to one of our virtual events? Check. Have we done her second appointment with friends? check. So it's just continuing to do all of those steps. And if she's still, then maybe it really is a timing thing, and then she'll sign up when she says she will, but to keeping those like lines of communication open. So.
And I also feel like, sometimes, people always think things will be easier later. So number one, I hear in my brain, I'm thinking logically, you're going to start school in the fall and you're going to be even busier. Why is that a better time, right? That's what I want to ask her, but we don't say it like that, right? You're like, that doesn't make sense. But what I would challenge her is say, what will be different about the fall? What will be different? Like, oh, I'd rather do this when I graduate. I'd rather do this when I'm married. I'd rather do this when I have a baby. I'd rather do this later on. There's always a later, right? I think for me, it's more to ask, but what will be different? Like, what will be different then? What will be different then in your situation or circumstance? And I think then she might answer her own question, because if she starts answering all the things, well, maybe in her case, she's like, I'll be around more people, or I'll do this or that. Okay. So, and then you can kind of redirect her. Well, what could Mary Kay offer you in this season? What could Mary Kay offer you in this season? And she just may not be willing. She may just be decided, and that's okay. And if she's firm on that, say, are you open to exploring it for this season? No, I'm really firm on the fall. Okay. Well, do I have permission to reach out to you in a couple months to reconnect? And then as events come, like Mari mentioned, you can keep her plugged in throughout. Because I think what you're trying to do is help them think a new thought. Because we're thinking, like, when I hear that, I'm like, you obviously are going to be busier in the fall. Like someone tells me, I have people tell me, I want to do this when I have kids. I'm like, you don't know what it's like to have a child. Do this before. Hello. But I've done it both, so it can be done. It's just easier. So people are like, oh, I want to do this after this or after that. Or it's just delaying a decision. That's what it comes down to. So if you can help them recognize a need and for the moment, like what is their need for the moment? And it's not telling them, because they have to think of their own answer. What could Mary Kay offer you in this season? What could Mary Kay offer you before you have children, before the fall? How could this set you up for back to school? How could this, like, thinking of questions like that. And this is where your director can help you into, because these are muscles. Asking questions is a muscle you develop. We're used to being told and telling. So asking questions is a muscle, and you will get better at that in Mary Kay. But yeah, asking those questions I think also help too. And I always like to ask, when somebody truly does close the door for the season, I just ask permission. So do I have your permission to revisit this conversation in next month? Do I have permission? Because sometimes they think, like, they make it seem like it's so far away, but it's just a month away. But when does school start? Oh, August 20th. Oh, that's wonderful. That's 3 weeks away. So when would you like to revisit our conversation? When can we revisit the conversation? Oh, I don't know, September. I'm like, okay. So if I have events during that season, can I include you? Are you okay with me inviting you? Yeah. So you want to keep her, so that you want to stay in the back of her mind in that season if she's really firm on that decision, right? So like that, just an extra little boost to that answer there that I think Mari answers her beautifully.
We got a couple of their questions too.
Okay.
About,
can I answer about the question? There was something about about Mary Kay not being stable. If I can just address that real quick. When I hear that question, it sounds like the people, I want to clarify, Mary Kay or the people that represented Mary Kay. Because sometimes people come in and out of Mary Kay and don't represent, like, oh, they just joined and they stopped and they never served as a customer or they didn't answer. It sounds like that's the unstable part, not Mary Kay. So I think asking a question like, what about Mary Kay have you heard is unstable? Because I can't think of one thing about Mary Kay, the company, but maybe they're thinking of a person, and you could then say, what I can show you is what I've seen and what I know about Mary Kay and provide her truth. So I just don't know where that came from, but it's clearly not Mary Kay. I believe it's probably more people. And from my understanding of what I know of Mary Kay, I don't know. So I think I gotta ask more questions.
And I think also people, you have to understand that most of us were raised with a traditional mindset. Okay, employee versus entrepreneurial mindset. I mean, that is just the vast majority. So just show your hand if one of your parents was self-employed. At least one of your parents had their own business. Okay. So how many people have their hand raised? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Keep your hand raised. 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7. So out of all of us here, there's like 7 or 8. that's a small minority. And so most people, when they think of stability, they think of a 9-to-5 job. And so it's about having kind of almost shifting their mindset. You know, I knew stability was really different to me because my dad had his own business my entire life. And so I saw stability as flexibility. I saw stability as being able to have time and money. I saw stability as having, you know, the best of all worlds. But I know that I was raised really differently. And so in most people, they are accustomed to thinking of stability as a 9-to-5 career that pays you a salary. But one of my favorite questions is, if you didn't go to your job, if you didn't show up this week, would they pay you? If you didn't show up for 2 months, would they pay you? If you didn't show up for 4 months, would they pay you? 6 months? Because that's not stable either. You get paid for showing up. And in Mary Kay, while you're building, it's very similar. And I tell them that at the beginning, you get paid for what you put into it. You get paid for showing up. And then there comes a time when you get paid even when you can't show up. And so it's really about educating and shifting their mindset and teaching them this is about residual income. And I know this because I've lived it and I've seen it in my own life. And so you can share stories of that and just really shifting their mindset on stability and what stability means. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, I know we've come to the end of we have so many good questions, and we can, if you had an answer that was not answered, please message your director privately so we can address those. I know people have meetings and parties after this, so we want to honor that. So we just want to thank you guys. Imani, any final thoughts before we go, girls? Lisa, Janet, before we go, any closing remarks?
We're just excited to be here every Tuesday with you guys. You guys are plugging in and making an investment in yourself. So we're here to help you any way that we can.
Yes. Thank you for leaders who show up. They
go up. And we've got an exciting training next Tuesday you do not want to miss.
Oh, yes.
Trust me, you want to be here. So make sure you mark it on your calendar next Tuesday, 7:45. The 4 of us have something really special for you all. And, you know, we may have some surprises up our sleeves. I don't know. So you just got to be here to find out.
Awesome. All right, girls. This will be recorded. You can watch the playback. Have an awesome night.
Powerful
Bye,
and on purpose week. Bye.